I'll be honest, when Itel sent this phone, I wasn't too excited. But the second I took it out of the box, I had a lot to say. This is the Itel A70. And if you watch the unboxing, then you clearly see a theme here. You see it, right? But before we talk about that, here are the important specs. We've got a 6.6-inch 720p 60Hz LCD display. We have the Tiger T603 processor with 3 or 4 GB of RAM and 128 GB of storage. For the cameras, there is a 13 megapixel main camera and an 8 megapixel selfie camera. We also get a big 5000 mAh battery and a Type-C port, all for 88,000 Naira. Okay, let's begin. So starting off with design, this looks familiar. It's like everyone in the budget phone space this year decided this is the look, and they all went with it. So yes, it does look like an iPhone, which some people like and some others don't. We've got what looks like a triple camera setup, but really it's one camera, a flash, and a third filler lens. The camera section is glossy with some text in it, but the rest of the rear is matte, a sort of glittery matte finish. The A70 also has flat sides, which give it a sort of boxy feel, but there are slight curves on the edges, which makes it comfortable to hold. The A70 comes in 4 colors. I think the gold looks the nicest, but this blue is fine too. And then when you pair it with the case it comes with, it looks even nicer. The case looks also very familiar. Turning the phone over, you get to see the new display. Although nothing's new on paper, it's still the same resolution, same bezels, same refresh rates, but no doubt the dynamic bar, which is what Itel calls it, makes this display feel new. It was turned on by default when I turned this phone on, and you get to see it in action when you use Face Unlock, when on a background call, when you plug the phone, when charging is complete, and when your battery is low. I think it's really cool, and honestly, I see a lot of people buying this phone just because of this feature. Another thing I didn't notice until someone else pointed it out was the wallpaper, or wallpapers. They clearly are trying to make this phone look like an iPhone, and I do have some thoughts on that, which I would share in a bit, but let's continue. Inside the phone, we get the Tiger T603 processor. It's a better chip than what was on the A60, but it is still an entry-level processor. It was able to handle all the basic smartphone tasks I gave it: social media, phone calls, little bit of gaming, little bit of multitasking. It handled all that fine. As expected though, it would take a couple seconds to open apps or switch between apps. Also, you wouldn't be able to download certain games on this phone, simply because it just can't run it. But that's like high graphic games. Subway Surfers, Candy Crush, FIFA Mobile, not so high graphic demanding games can be played on here. So it's not a gaming focused phone at all. It's for people getting their first Android experience, or a phone you get your 10-year-old kid, or maybe your elderly grandparents, or it could be a second phone for you. So it can handle basic tasks, just nothing extreme. And that's the same story with the cameras. The shots you'd get wouldn't blow you away, and really they're not meant to. Just get enough sunlight, stay still, and you should get okay results. Color isn't consistent, but when it gets it right, well, the photos look even better. Video gets 1080p support, but again, these are satisfactory at best. But again, people getting this phone aren't looking for the best camera. Battery life though is an area where the A70 shines. It has a big battery and frankly should last the entire day for almost anyone. I streamed a football match for about 14 minutes and it took 6% of the battery. That's 9+ hours of battery life if I'm just streaming content, which is very impressive. So if you're using your phone lightly, it could even take 2 days before you need to charge it. But the A70 comes with a 10-watt charger, so it would take a bit of time to fill up. Oh, and a nice addition is the Type-C port. It's nice to see that micro USB is slowly being phased out. The Itel A70 is a solid entry-level smartphone. A large screen, great battery life, large storage, plus support for an SD card, a side-mounted fingerprint reader, 4G connectivity, Android 13, USB Type-C, but I think what people would focus more on is the stylish design and dynamic bar. Okay, so let's talk about it. I think at the end of the day, Itel has to give their target audience what they would want. If you feel like the A70 looks like an iPhone and you don't like that, then you're most likely not their target audience. Because I know, and you probably do too, that there is a large number of people with about $100 to spend on a phone who would want something like this. So yeah, at the end of the day, people with about $100 to spend on a phone would actually like that this looks like an iPhone. And Itel knew this. That's why they did it. But yeah, that's my review of the Itel A70. Let me know your thoughts. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't. But either way, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you when you see me.
There's a problem with the what?